Alright, so the intro for Kiss It by Dorothy then. This song's going to start with hand claps. When you press play, you hear the first clap immediately. So it sounds like it's on 1 and 3 of a 4-beat bar, but it's actually on 2 and 4. So you have to kind of flip the beat in your head, maybe precede it by a count-in. So what's actually going to happen here, I'm going to demonstrate this with dead notes. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So all the hand claps you hear at the beginning are on 2s and 4s. And there's going to be 4 bars of them, and the guitar's going to enter with a slide from the 10th fret, or thereabouts, down towards the 3rd fret, and we're going to do that on beat 4 of the last bar. So again, I'm going to do the hand claps with my dead notes of the guitar to represent them, but it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, slide. And that's going to get us in to our main riff. So our main riff begins at the 3rd fret. We've slid down from around about 10 to the low G here at the 3rd fret. I've got a little bit of fuzz on my guitar to replicate the sound on the record. Not a crazy amount, but somewhere to get us in the ballpark. I never spend too much on the sounds for these videos. I always want them to be roughly in the ballpark, and they're not getting away with the actual information that we're talking about in terms of how to play the tune. You know what it's supposed to sound like. You know what gear you have, so you can represent it the best way you can with what you have. So we slid down from 10 to 3, this low G on the bottom E string. And I would recommend playing that with your first finger. It seems that's what he does when I've watched live videos of this song. And then using 3rd and little fingers, we're going to have this 5 and 6 pairing. So 5 on the G, 6 on the B. And we're going to hit both of those at the same time. And then we're going to do this bend. So we're going to bend the 5th fret note upwards while the little finger on 6 stays stationary. We're going to do that twice. We're going to have 1, 2, 3. And that's obviously going by pretty fast. And in the next bar, we're going to do a pull off 5 to 3. So pick 5 on the G, pull off to 3. And I'm doing that with my 1st and 3rd fingers. And then we're going to land with the 3rd finger on the string above on the 5th fret. So far. And then we're going to have this nice double stop to represent a C5 and a B flat 5 power chord. So I'm laying my 3rd finger down there across the D and the G strings at the 5th fret. And then 1st finger laying down at the 3rd fret to get those two. So really slowly, this is our main riff. That would be the first go round. The only thing that's going to change later on in bar 8 of the tab, we do the same pull off phrase, and then just do those 2 double stops in reverse. Same 2 fingers, it's the same idea, just literally the 3rd fret note goes first, and then the C. And the reason you're probably familiar with power chords here, I refer to these as power chords, is maybe something like the song Smoke on the Water. These 2 notes of the double stop represent a power chord. They're just flipped inside out compared to a normal power chord shape. So for instance, this would be the kind of normal shape or pairing for a power chord, root, then 5th. Well, in this example, that would be a C power chord, by the way. In this example, we've just taken the 5th and then put the root above it. So it's the same 2 notes that form a power chord, hence why it's labelled, and I refer to it as a power chord. But it might not be a traditional shape that you've played before when someone mentions power chords. So now, first line of the song to represent our main riff, this is bar 5 to bar 8, would be 3, 4. And then after that, everything we're going to have is very, very, very similar. So this is now bar 9 on the tab to bar 12. You can see bar 9 and bar 10 are actually repeating what we've already done. So I'm going to jump ahead to bar 11 and 12. This little power chord phrase comes up a fair few times in the song, 3 or 4 at least, I think. So bar 11, we're playing our more traditional power chord shapes for a C power chord. Same strings, down 2 frets for B flat. And then back to where we were on the C power chord, 3rd fret. Rhythm here, the B flat chord's on the and, so we'd have 1, 2, and 3, 4. Same rhythm in bar 12, 1, 2, and. This time it's the C power chord falling on the and. But obviously we're starting in a different place, so now we're starting 8 and 10 for an F power chord. Descending. So those two bars together, 11 and 12, would be 3, 4. Alright, and that represents our main riff now. So in bar 13, we're going to play the same thing, but the band is going to join in and everything's going to go with the band for a second time round. So we're going to finish on bar 19 and 20 for this introduction with those same power chords we were just playing. Alright, that's the main riff. That's going to happen a fair few bits, so make sure you practice this, and then I'll see you in the verse. Alright, so verse 1 then, we're starting on this low G note, 3rd fret of the bottom E, but this time we're going to palm mute, and I'm going to do this note with my 3rd finger. The reason being is because there's going to be a quick change from the 3 down to 1 in the second bar of this riff. So we're counting crotchets. I'm obviously demonstrating and playing this much slower than the recording for the sake of your understanding and practice, but when you are doing it, just gradually build up the speed. Remember, accuracy is the most important thing though, so keep it slow, keep it accurate, and then gradually increase the speed. So bar 21 here on the tab would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and simple, just 1 beat note, crotchets. In 22, same thing, but we've got 4 and that's where we're changing from 3rd to 1st finger. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and. If we put 21 and 22 together, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 23, back to just the crotchets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in bar 24, we're going to do that same 3rd to 1st finger change. And then with my 3rd finger, I'm going to drop it down, laying flat against the D and the G strings to get that double stop again for a B flat power chord. So just bar 24 would be 3, 4. And notice that everything's palm muted except those double stops. We want them to ring. So first line of the verse, 21 to 24, would be 1, 2, 3, 4. On to 25 and through from there. Very similar things going to happen, but if you're looking at bar 28 in the last bar there, we're still doing our little move from 3 to 1. But now 3rd finger is going to come to the 5th fret for the C double stop, and 1st finger is going to do the 3rd fret again. Just like in the intro. Nice ringing notes in contrast to the palm mutes. Alright, keep going from there. So bar 29, C power chord in our more traditional power chord shape again, playing crotchets, but still palm muted. We're going to do that for 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then down, same finger, same strings, but down 2 frets to the 1st fret. And in bar 32, even though we're starting in the same place, but notice these last moves are not palm muted anymore. So now we've got 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. That's our last bar. So just playing the last line of the verse there, bar 29 to 32 would be this after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's going to get us into our chorus. So again, like all these sections, like all these videos, practice the section until you get it, then come for the next one, practice that, and then start stitching them all together. So once you've got it, I'll see you in chorus 1. Okay, so to start us off then in chorus 1 for the All I've Got line, bar 33 on the tab, we've just played, in the ending of the previous section, our single notes, 3 down to 1, 2 power chords, that whole business. So we're coming out of that, bear that in mind, and we're moving over to this G power chord. We're going to hit it, and it's being indicated to slide down. Slide down to nothing, we're just sliding to the end of the guitar. And this is all going by pretty fast, so the most important thing here is as your hand approaches the end of the guitar, I'm actually putting my picking hand down on the strings to make it silent, so it sounds like it disappeared. A slide to nothing. And then we're going to rest in bar 34 for 4 beats. We're going to do that same slide again from the G power chord. And then this time we're going to get out into our main riff again from bar 36. We're playing on the and, 1, 2, and that's our F power chord. And then on beat 4, an F sharp, so they're just moving up chromatically. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and then we'd be arriving at the 3rd fret to start our main riff again, but technically that's the next section, or the next half of the chorus. So if we just play the first line of the chorus here, this is 33 through to 36, and I'll count out all the rests. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Like I said, we're going to go up again, another fret. So our first finger lands on the 3rd fret of the bottom string. That's going to set us up to repeat the main riff. This is bar now 37 in the tab. But this is really just the main riff from the intro. So 37 all the way to 44 we have actually played as our intro. Notice there's repeat lines, or repeat marks I should say, at bar 37 and at the end of 44. So these 2 lines in the tab get played twice. So for the sake of time, we're going to jump over the bit as we've already covered it. If you need to practice or rewatch anything there, just rewatch the intro from this video. Okay, on to the break. So the break at bar 45 on the tab, it's just a 2-bar break. Really simple. It's really just the idea from the verse, but they just put this 2-bar spacer really from the end of the chorus, little breathing space before verse 2 begins. So we'll just play that quickly. Again, palm muting, we're playing crotchets until we get to the end of bar 46 where we're playing 4 and. So it sounds like this. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. And then immediately back to the 3rd fret to start verse 2. So in verse 2, much the same as verse 1 with the main idea. However, it's always the end bar, bar 4 of every line that's going to change here. So the first line, 47 to 50, we have done before, so we'll play straight through that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Straight onto the next line, in bar 51, we start that riff again, but the end of the line changes. It's kind of the same riff as we had in the first verse, but we're just up an octave with the first 3 notes. Again, I'm using 3rd to my first finger on the D string, 5, 3, 5. And then again, my 3rd finger is going to lay flat against the D and the G, to my first finger laying flat to get the double stops. So that whole line, 51 through to 54. 2, 3, 4. Onto there, 55. We're going back to our C palm muted, or C power chord palm muted. Down to a B flat. And remember, bar 58, no palm muting. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And that would be the end of verse 2. All right, into chorus 2. So chorus number 2 then, same thing as we had earlier on. We talked about this G power chord sliding down. And then this little chromatic phrase to get us into the main riff again, where we're playing an F power chord, F sharp, and then back to G. So everything in chorus 2, this is bar 59 in the tab, all the way through the end of bar 70. And just like before, these 2 lines are repeated, so 63 to 70 are repeated, so watch out for those. We have already played this riff again, so for the sake of time, to keep it down, keep this concise, I'm not going to play them again, but please do practice them, and then work on joining the first half of this song together. When you're ready, I'll see you in the bridge. Alright, so the bridge of this song, the bar 71 in the tab, we're mixing our low power chords, starting on a G, with a high phrase now. Now, when it's been recorded, it was probably dubbed as two separate parts, on a second pass. So they've done the rhythm part first, then this lead phrase. But when they play it live, it seems that the guitar player does play them both. So it's possible, it might just be a bit of practice to crush these two parts together and make the transitions smooth, especially at quite a quick speed. So we're playing our G power chord, hitting it and sliding it down. And then we're going to move up to the 8th fret and the 6th fret. This is on the B string. And I'm going to use my third finger on 8, first finger on 6. And we're going to pick it and then pull off to 6. And then my second finger is going to hit 7 on the G. And then we're back to 8. So G power chord is our first phrase. And this would be 3 and 4 and in terms of rhythm. We're playing quavers there. But remember, this is shuffle or swing. So it's got a bit more of a lilt to the rhythm as opposed to being marching straight. Bar 72, we're starting on the and, but it's the same phrase. So the same phrase, but rhythmically, it's a little bit different here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, straight to a B flat power chord. So that's a pretty quick change. 1. And then we're going to go to an F power chord, same frets, but just above it. So this would be bar 72 to 73, 1. And then back to this same phrase again, third finger on 8. 74 again, starting on the and, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, down to our B flat chord here. So a lot of the same stuff, it's just lots of jumping around. It's a coordination exercise, right? Okay, so the second half of the bridge, bar 75, same idea is going to continue, but now we're starting on a C power chord on 1 and. That rings for beat 2, so 1 and 2. And then we're just moving a little bit higher now for our pull-off phrase. So third finger at 11. You could use your little finger as well, but third finger feels comfortable for me. So we're going to hit 11, pull off to our first finger at 8. Then 10 on the G, back to little finger. So if you think about coordination there, you could go little finger on the 11, or maybe little finger. Either one is fine, just pick one and practice it, keep it the same. So really slowly that bar 75, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Bar 76, starting on the and again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, jumping back down to our C power chord. And then a B flat power chord in the next bar. And then 8 to 6 again. But now we're going to move over a string to G and do same fingers, third and first, but 7 and 5 pull off. So that would be 3 and 4 and in bar 77, 3 and 4 and then we've got these two bends that we had in our main riff. So little finger on 6, third finger on 5. We're picking and bending those up twice. So that'd be 1, 2, 3 and 4 and then I'll pull offs from earlier as well. So the two bends and then 3 and 4 and. Okay, so bar 75 then to 76 would be 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And the second half chunk 77 to 78 would be 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that bridge is probably going to be the hardest part for you. If you can't do the lead phrases, maybe just do the power chords. But if you like the lead phrases but can't quite transition between them, leave out the power chords, do the lead phrases. So there's a few different ways you can approach it, but I want to give you all the information and you can choose how to put it together. Okay, second half of this bridge then. Really everything we've done has repeated itself, but you'll see I've marked on over bar 79, there's a little note there that says with lower octave effect. So they're playing these lead phrases with a sub octave, so 1 octave down. If you don't have that, it's fine, you can leave it out. It's just a nice little detail on the recording. Everything we're playing though is saying the same really until we get to bar 83. So we're starting 1 and 2, and then same pull-offs we had earlier, 3 and 4 and. But then in bar 84, we're again starting on the 1 and, that's not changed, 1 and 2 and. But But now we're going to move up to 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 2 consecutive pull-offs. So 13 to 11, 12 to 10, and that's on the B and then the G string. So just that little phrase, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we get into this power chord phrase that we had from our intro. And so on. And that's actually going to repeat 3 times now, verbatim. So let's just repeat that 3 times. So 3, 4. Second time. Third time. So it's the same riff, we just haven't repeated it 3 times yet in the song. Alright, so in the end of this then, bar 91, we're going to do these unison bends. So my first finger's on 10, high E string. Third finger's on 13 of the B string. And the idea of the unison bend is that when you bend this note up on the B string, which is going up a tone by the way, so 13 needs to sound like 15. When you get the bend to the top, it will match the pitch of the note under your first finger, but there's a moment where they clash and then it sounds like the waters have stilled and the notes match each other. So we're pushing through that clashing moment into stillness and the notes match. So that's the unison bend. In bar 91, we're actually going to bend that 3 times. In bar 92, we're going to do it twice, but the second one, the bend is up in the air, we hit it and bring it down. So it's up, hit it and bring it down. And then a double stop on 12 and 11. So all together. That would be how we get out of this section. So unison bends sound really great, but they can be quite tricky. It requires a lot of strength to keep that note up there with the first finger not moving or slipping off or anything. So you notice my thumb's over the top there. So as I'm pushing up, my thumb's kind of bearing down. So I've got more to squeeze against, to work against. All right, on to the final section then, I'll play out. So for the play out of this song then, we're really just playing the main riff, everything we've already had in the intro and previous in the song. So there is some lead guitar going over the top. I haven't covered this really here, but if you want to get into it, it's all coming from G minor pentatonic. You could play that at the 3rd fret. Or exactly the same pattern, you're probably familiar with it, but up the octave starting at fret number 15. That would get you very close to a lot of the lead phrases that are going over here, but really the bulk of the song, the glue of the song is this main riff. So that's what I've written out in the tab from bar 93 through to bar 100. So just jumping on to the very ending, still playing the main riff, but at the very end, and this would be the second time round because bar 101 to 108 repeats itself, at the very end we're playing our power chords. We're playing our power chords there at the very end. And then, if it's the second pass, we're then ending the song bar 109 with that G power chord, hitting it, sliding down to nothing. And that's going to bring our song to an end. So I hope you found that helpful. Any questions, pop them in the comments, get in touch. Any other songs that you'd like to see, please let me know. This was a subscriber request, so I'm very happy to do those. This is a great request, a great song. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful. See you in the next one.